أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ودخل معه السجن فتيان قال أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين. قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي إني تركت ملة قوم لا يؤمنون بالله وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون. واتبعت ملة آبائي إبراهيم وإسحاق ويعقوب ما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. يا صاحبي السجن أأرباب متفرقون خير أم الله الواحد القهار. ما تعبدون من دونه إلا أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان إن الحكم إلا لله أمر ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. يا صاحبي السجن أما أحدكما فيسقي ربه خمرا وأما الآخر فيصلب فتأكل الطير من رأسه قضي الأمر الذي فيه تستفتيان. فقال للذي ظن أنه ناج منه اذكرني في السجن بضع سنين صدق الله العظيم. Yes, I think the subject was Musa Yusuf alayhi salam was invited to the palace, and his women who were breastfeeding cut their hands. They were surprised for the beauty of this boy, and then they wanted to put him into jail. He also prayed that jail is better than what they are inviting me for. So, oh our Lord, my Lord, you take away from me, protect me from the evil influence. So Allah accepted his prayer and took away from him their plans. He is the one who is listener and hears and knows. Then ثم بدا لهم من بعد ما 35th ayah. ثم بدا لهم من بعد ما رأوا الآيات لا يسجدونه حتى حين. ثم then بدا لهم, became clear for them من بعد ما رأوا الآيات, after they saw things, signs. لا يسجدونه, they need to put him in jail حتى حين for some times. He had no sin, no crime, but political environment decided, judged, and thought it is better to put him into jail. This is what happened. As it may happen in place, and it is happening every day, where legally person can be innocent, but the kingdom, the decision of the ruler, political situation may put a person into jail. This is what is happening in the Muslim world, and this is what happened to Yusuf alayhi salam. We know that he did not commit the crime, but the influence, political influence, made him scapegoat, made him victim. So they decided to put him in jail. But for certain time, when you put persons in jail, fixing time is important. Yes, fixing time, how long they will stay is important. That is the way things work. ودخل معه السجن فتيان. He was in jail, and two of them, two young persons, also entered with him in jail. Entered with him in jail. So they were like three, according to this text of the Quran. Both of them were like youth. He was young, two of his friends also were young, fatah, young. So they were able to communicate with each other. That was not the system of self, so possibly they were living all together in the same big room. So they were able to speak with each other. قال أحدهما, prisoners, they tell things to each other. I mean, they are bored, they have a lot of time, their background, their concerns, stories. This is the only big capital they may use. This is what is happening there. قال أحدهما, one of these two young persons said that, إني أراني أعصر خمرا. I am seeing myself squeezing wine, text literally wine, here, khamra. He is saying that he has a dream. He wants to tell his dream to Yusuf alayhi salam, because they figured out that Yusuf alayhi salam is good in interpreting dreams. That part is not mentioned here, but it is naturally, it is the result of, it is the understood. So he is telling, this young boy is telling his dream to be interpreted by Yusuf alayhi salam, saying that I am squeezing إني أراني, I dreamt, I have a dream. In my dream, I was squeezing khamr, wine. This is literal meaning, but nobody could squeeze a liquid, khamr. So what is meant here from khamr, the word wine, grape, from which khamr is made, or, I mean, grape. He is saying that I was squeezing grapes, which to make from that juice khamr, that was the purpose. So it is not possible to interpret Quran literally, not possible. Always there are allegorical, metaphorical meanings. This is an example. So what he is saying, what Quran is saying, what that person is saying, I was trying to make wine. For that reason, I collected some grapes. I began to squeeze them, so juice was coming out. That juice was to be made wine. So people were making wine that time. Grapes are not mentioned here, but meant. So literal, I mean, I will translate Quran word by word, impossible. Nobody can do that. It is wrong. This is an example. Grape is not mentioned by meant. It is there. Grape is there. So, وَقَالَ الْآخَرُ. Now, the other one, these are two young boys, also had another dream. There was another dream by other young boy, second young boy. وَقَالَ الْآخَرُ. The other one said, إِنِّي أَرَانِي I saw myself أحمل carry فوق رأسي at the top of my head خبز and bread. I was carrying some bread at the top of my head. Yes, in villages, in some areas, people carry their valuable things at the top of their head, sometimes very artistically. Sometimes it may be so big. Board or something, they put like that, they go like that, they walk like that. Sisters do like that, men do like that, and this what is culture. You say culture, but this is what is happening. He is telling that. In my dream, I was carrying bread. So they also were having bread, history of bread. There are families who have business and bakeries. If you ask them, is bread mentioned in Quran? They may not remember. This is their profession today. People produce bread and sell and things like that. But it is interesting when you ask them, tell me something about bakery, something about bread, whether it is mentioned in the Quran or not, what kind of bread was that time, do you know anything about that? They will, very few of them may answer properly. But whereas this is the history of industry, history of culture, whatever you may say, it is there. I was reading, so he is saying that I am carrying bread at the top of my head. تأكل الطير. There were birds flying around and picking pieces from that bread. So bread was at the top of my head, and birds were picking and eating that bread up. نبئنا بتأويله. O Yusuf alayhi salam, tell us what is ta'wil, what is the interpretation, what is the ta'bir al-ru'ya, ta'bir al-ru'ya, interpreting dreams, literature, Ibn Sirin, books, hadith, Quran, Yusuf alayhi salam and others, these young boys. So it is something, it is there. So dreams could be interpreted, could mean something, as Quran is hinting or alluding. Inna naraka min al-muhsinin. We see you nice person, they are saying. So, interpreter of Ruya must be nice person, eligible to interpret. Not everybody could interpret dreams. Dreams need to be interpreted by good persons. Inna naraka min al-muhsinin. We are seeing you good people, from good people. That is why we are telling you our stories and expecting from you its interpretation. Now, Yusuf alayhi salam, قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما. لا يأتيكما طعام. Now the speaker is Yusuf alayhi salam. no food would come to you. He is telling to his friends, two of them, تُرْزَقَانِهِ, you will be fed with that food. No food would come by which you will be fed, إِلَّا but نَبَّأْتُكُمَا, I will inform you, بِتَأْوِيلِهِ, with its interpretation. قَبْلَ أَنْ يَأْتِيَكُمَا, before it comes to you, before food comes to you. In jail, they are in jail, prison. In jail, first, they are two human beings, they need to be fed. Somebody needs to feed them. So food was available. People were in charge that were bringing food. Yusuf alayhi salam had something in his mind to tell. He will soon get engaged in that, in following lines. But he wanted to tell some other things before he answers promptly, properly to these questions, dream issue. But for that, Yusuf alayhi salam is telling them, don't worry, now I will tell you out of subject. Some of the things you are not expecting from me, you did not ask me for. But I am assuring you, he was telling, I will come back after telling some other things. I will come back, answer your question before food comes. In jail, food is very important thing, outside contact. Very important thing for fixing the times. Perhaps they did not have any clock, anything. Perhaps they did not have any window, anything, where they were living, these people. But food, morning food, lunch, dinner, I mean, that is bigger thing for persons who are in jail. So Yusuf alayhi salam is taking that point, which is very important for them, assuring them that don't worry, be relaxed, get ready, I will tell you some other things out of subject, you will feel like that, but I will come back. I am promised, this promise I am promising you. Now what he is going to tell, look. ذَلِكُمَا مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي. What I am going to tell you, these things are what I was taught by my Lord. What I am going to tell you as interpretation of the dreams too are things I was told by my Lord. عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي. Now he begins. إِنِّي تَرَكْتُ, I left behind مِلَّةَ قَوْمٍ, a nation, people. Now he is going back, telling the story, Yusuf alayhi salam, to his friends. The story they did not ask for, they were not ready for, too. But Yusuf alayhi salam is interjecting. Very interesting method Muslims must use today in all occasions. Inni taraktu, I left, millata qawmi, nation of religion of the nation. Millat, millat means religion. It has a lot of meanings. One of them is millat qawmin la yu'minuna billah. Those people were not believing in Allah. La yu'minuna billah. Lahum fil akhirah. And they were in terms of akhirah, hum kafirun, deniers. They were not believing in Allah, and also they were deniers, kafirs, of hereafter, about hereafter, akhirah. So they were not believing in Allah, they were not believing in hereafter. This is the people I left behind. This is the nation I'm coming from. A little personal history, like introduction, then he is coming perhaps to some point later. وَاتَّبَعْتُ, I followed. I detached myself from those people, my people, who don't believe in Allah and in hereafter. I followed ittiba' millata aba'i, the religion of my fathers, forefathers. Aba, ab. Who are my aba? Plural of ab. Everybody has only one father. He is not saying abi. He must have said abi. Yusuf alayhi salam's father is Yaqub. A person may have only one father. But it is plural. Plural in Arabic is three. Three and more. So it is what he is meaning. The word here, ab, abba, means jad too, which is grandfather. Grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfathers also are included in the word ab, father. In Quran, jad is used. In other parts of Quran, the word jaddun, grandfather, is used. Plural is ajdad. It was totally okay if he had said ajdadi, abai, abi and ajdadi, my father and my grandfathers, something like that. If he had said, but he didn't say. So, father, ab, is covering in Arabic. Grandfather, great-grandfather too, because we will see here is including grandfather too. Abai Ibrahim. He is saying my father's Ibrahim. Ibrahim is not his father. Wa Ishaq, he is saying Ishaq. Wa Yaqub, he is saying Yaqub. Yaqub is his father. Because the story, other part of Quran is saying that Yaqub is the father of Yusuf. So Yusuf is saying, my father, Yaqub, then his father is Ishaq, which is grandfather of Yusuf, then Ibrahim, father of Ishaq, who is great-grandfather of Yusuf. And did you notice that the arrangement he did not go from his father back, Yaqub, Ishaq, Ibrahim. He took farthest one, grandfather, nearest to him. He said, I followed Ibrahim, great-grandfather, his son, Ishaq, grandfather, Yaqub, father. Put in same line. Connected with each other with where. Arabic. Knowledge. Science. Perhaps if you go into big tafsir, they will perhaps 20 pages speak about this subject. Why it is Abraham, Ishaq, Yaqub, not Yaqub, Ishaq, Ibrahim. Find the answer. Miracles of Quran. Miracles of Quran. Whole world is ignorant. We are all ignorant and arrogant, not ready to know too, not humble to express or to feel our ignorance. We are ignorant, we are arrogant, happy with our ignorance and not feeling any need to know too. Arrogant. Walking in the street like liars, though we are not even lamb, we are not even chicken, but walking in the street feeling that we are liars, something like that. Like Pahlawan, like big wrestler, but the person is nothing. This is what our situation is. Now, I follow, this is, Yusuf alayhi salam is giving a nice technique of da'wah, benefiting from the occasion, assuring the people will come to same subject, and beginning from his personal area, main ones. I left behind the people who don't believe in Allah, don't believe in hereafter, and I detached myself, did not agree with them, did not compromise, did not keep quiet, as all Muslim world is doing. Yes. You know, Muslims were Muslims everywhere. History. Hafiz Assad, Syria, oh, Alawi, Nusayri, people are speaking now, we are speaking like that. Why didn't we make in the history and course of time them as a good Muslim? Why? In China we have 80, maybe more, maybe less Muslims. Why they are not effective to other communist regimes and people making them Muslim? Why? Why in India, subcontinent, Muslims like 15% of something in all India subcontinent, and they have trouble today? Why they could not make them Muslim? Why? Why? Dawah is big subject, neglected. People, why we are not making the Americans Muslim? Why? We are happy, we have some, but why not more? Why we were not here 5 centuries, 6 centuries ago in America, before Christopher Columbus, to spread Islam? Why? Why we are not there everywhere? In South America, Central America, and why we don't have these Hispanic, Spanish-speaking Islamic centers, like scholars raised, like 100, like 500, like 1,000 Hafiz, Arabic, well-established, good, and they are, oh, we are training, sending them. Why we don't have? Dawah. Dawah is a word abused by Muslims here. Everybody is like using like horse ride and then discard, like ride, discard, like that. Dawah. Who is doing dawah? We are not doing dawah. Nobody is doing that much dawah. Meek voices here and there means nothing. Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, I detach myself from those groups, and I followed my great-grandfathers and my fathers, my ancestors' way. To follow my ancestors' way is not always bad. In other part of Quran, people are saying that opposing to Prophet Muhammad and other prophets, we are not going to follow you, you are a new guy, telling new things. Modernist new. Modernist, you are too modernist. We are traditionalists. Inna wajadna aba'ana ala ummah, wa inna ala athari muqtadun. We found our forefathers practicing like that, ummah, religion, and we are going to follow that one, not to follow you. So, some part of Quran, some part of ayahs, telling us that the people did not accept new message, wahi, and they followed forefathers, their own culture, history, culture. But here, this culture is good culture. So not all history, all cultures, all forefathers, what they were doing is bad. We miss the point many times. They are many times, sometimes, I mean, when somebody says something, I want to follow like what my forefathers were doing. Somebody reads a hadith, so you get confused, you see, it makes you confused. Hadith is, of course, that hadith may have interpretation, there may be other ahadith, but who would know that? So you don't know, they don't know, and so ahadith, and you may feel difficulty in how to answer. Because in your country, big alims, all were practicing this one. Now somebody is coming telling you that what you are doing is wrong, and reading something, hadith, so, I mean, difficult. It becomes difficult. But at least the situation is not all traditional cultural things are bad. This is the example. He is following his forefathers, which is culture, short expression of that, and their tradition, which is Islamic. مَا كَانَ لَنَا أَن نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Now he is hinting. How can we associate someone with Allah? So he is saying that those people I left behind were associating with Allah so many things. How can I do that? How? مَا كَانَ لَنَا. How it was that? How was that? مَا كَانَ. مَا كَانَ was not. لَنَا. And nushrika was not for us. Nushrika, to associate, to shirk, billahi, with Allah, min shay, anything. It was not fitting, it was not proper to associate someone. They were with Allah, someone with Allah. They were associating. I pulled myself away. Oh, detaching yourself away from evil is very important. You will struggle, you will tell, you will show your detest, your hate, your dislike, but if it is continuing, you will pull yourself away. You will not let yourself be caught in the stream of evils. You will correct, you will push, but not possible pull you out. Yusuf alayhi salam is good matter. So He is saying, I put myself away. But was that because I was very strong? How did I detach myself from those people, actual practice, and pull myself to follow forefathers and do not associate anyone, anything with Allah? How? ذَلِكَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا. This is the grace of Allah upon us, not because of my power. You are Muslim, we are Muslims. Why? You know why? Grace of Allah. Thanks to Allah. I mean, millions of people have been born, are born in faith other than Islam. And they are there today, living in that area, in those areas, all the world. Why? No answer. I don't know. We are born lucky, happy in Islam and accepted Islam. Why? No answer. Thanks to Allah. Thanks to Allah. Grace of Allah. بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا. This is فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا. فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس. This is the bounty of Allah, grace of Allah for us and for the people. ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. But most of the people don't do shukr. Correct. Most of the people never do shukr, never thank to Allah. Never. We are created by Allah. Everybody is created by Allah. Everybody is provided, looked after by Allah, cared by Allah. But no recognition. Very few recognizes the care of Allah, the power of Allah. Very few. وَقَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. You are, very little you are doing shukr. Your shukr, your thankfulness is very little. You are not thanking. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرُونَ. Most of the people, majority of the people, never do shukr. True. 100,000 Muslims, Dallas Fort Worth, in 30 years, around 100,000. 35 years ago, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, maybe that just not more than 2 dozens Muslims in Dallas Fort Worth, this area. No mosque, no Jum'ah, no Jama'ah, no Taraweeh, no Eid, nothing. In 100, well, now 100,000, around like that. Masjid, 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 masjid. MashaAllah, too many masjids. Somebody says Somalian, Bilalian masjid. Where is it? Oh, here in Jupiter. Oh, is it in there? Oh, okay, good. Then yesterday another brother, oh, do you know what other side? And they, what is that? Oh. I mean, somebody in hotel, a room, masjid. Oh, the owner of the hotel or runner of the hotel, and then they are praying Jummah. Oh, Allah. He was surprised, he is surprised. I mean, everywhere, mashallah, like popping up masjids and rooms, musallas. Definitely 10, 15 masjids and around like that. and maybe 20, more than 20, musallas, rooms, 30 years, yes. Marvelous development, of course. Too fast, yes. How to measure, I don't know, but it is like 1000% or something ratio. 2,000 people in 30 years, 100,000, somebody could measure something. In sociology, perhaps, they have how to measure, they know how to measure this social increase and decrease the things. How many of them come to masjid? You have masjid, Muslims, 100,000. 10%? I doubt. 10% means 10,000. Is it not? 10,000. You are meaning that 12,000 people come to masjid, all masjids in Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, including Jummah. Difficult? I don't think that much. I mean, when they calculate, 5,000, 6,000 could be. So 90,000 people are not coming to masjid because they are a little bit far away. Some of them come in, yeah, okay. Let us 80,000, let us say 80,000, let us say 80%, let us 70%. Definitely more than half, more than 50%, 60%, 70%. Nothing to do with masjid. In America, in Christian society, in melting pot, they have nothing to do. Their children have nothing to do. Immigrant ones may have something from back country, but what about their children? ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. Most of the people are not thankful, not coming to masjid in this context, not acknowledging that much Islam. Life, sociological. When you have these many people not coming to masjid, that means not having very clearly established relation with Islam, then their children will be having less. Children's children will have none, possibly. Very, very few. Muslims. Now he is addressing to his friends. Ya sahibayya. Oh my two friends. Sahibayni. This is sahibayni, which means friends. Sahib. Sahib. Friend. He is addressing to his friends, to his two friends, as my friend, Ya Sahibay, my friends, my two friends. Sahib means owner in literal Arabic, but at the same time means friend, here. That is why in subcontinent Muslims, they say Imam Sahib, like friend Imam, like Sir Imam, Mr. Imam, something. That is not something owner, but it is like a title, like a respect, like a friend. Ya Sahibay, oh my friend, as-sijn. Oh my friend of prison, in prison. Friend, my two friends in prison. Friendship in prison is very important one. In our culture, friendship from military, because that is the all boys have to pass in military. I mean, people live in their villages, in their locality for some times, then They go to military and they become friends with the other people from other part of Turkey. 2 years, 3 years later, when they come back, get older, these stories in military, what they have done with their friends, and that friendship, like, lasts to the end of their life, never ends. Something like that. In prison, you are in prison. Friendship in prison is really, this is what is hinted, alluded here. Ya sahibi sijn, all my good friends in jail. A'arbabun, he is asking a question. A'arbabun mutafarriquna, khayrun. Arbab is plural of Rabb. Rabbs, lords. A is question. Mutafarriquna, so plural, three, at least three. Lords, separate, different lords, independent lords. Khayr. Are they better to have lords, gods, more than one, more than two, 3, 4, 5, many, separate? Khayrun, is this something good? Or Allah, the word Allah is used in his time of Yusuf, in Arabic. Wahidu, unique, one. Al-Qahar, strong, powerful, destroyer. So he is asking, I'm asking you a question. So he told the story, his background, then paved the way, how can we associate something with Allah? He said, this is the grace of Allah. Then he turned to address to them, question, oh my friends, I am asking you, is having lords different, more than 3, more than 4, more than 5, different, independent, separate, better, good, or one, powerful, strong, Allah? Which one is better? So, after paving the way of da'wah, he comes to address to them, but addressing to what? What subject? Subject of aqidah, iman. Iman comes first. What is that? Belief in oneness of God. Look, he logically, he came to that point, and after warming them, preparing them up, then he is addressing to that part, aqidah, iman, belief in oneness of God. That part. مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِهِ إِلَّا أَسْمَاءً. Now he is continuing his line of thinking. You are not worshipping anyone other than him, illa but asma'an, names. You need to worship Allah, one. If you worship anything other than him, they are not real gods. They are just names, fake, asma'an. Sammaytumuha, you are the one who named them, gave them their names. How Muslims allow anything like that, I don't know. I was sitting with in an interfaith meetings 3-4 days ago, and there was a Hindu, well-educated PhD, worked 30 years in Texas Instruments, retired, very reasonable type of person. He was sincerely explaining, defending, telling, and about their gods, idols in Hinduism. Whole people everywhere in the world, idol worshippers, we are watching. Can't do anything, no method to effect on them. Too bad, too bad, too bad. And these people carve something, this is God. Made something, this is God. Sammaytumuha, they are naming themselves, fixing themselves, putting the name and making God themselves. What confusing, how it could be? Antum wa aba'ukum, you are the ones who named them, yourself and your fathers, grandfathers, meaning, ma anzalallahu biha min sultan. Allah never revealed any power for them. Allah did not authorize you. Allah did not reveal, send down any authority. In al-hukmu illa lillah, I am telling you, he is saying, look, look, now he gets a little bit stronger. In al-hukmu illa lillah, hukm, kingdom, rulership, sultana, sultan, power is with Allah. Allah the one who rules, who decides, who reigns. Sovereignty belongs to him. Sovereign nation. How could be sovereign nation? Nobody could be sovereign. People, a sharp people. What people? How? Under the guidance of Quran, Islam, no problem to do things, but ignoring Allah's power, putting democracy or anything through democracy, voice openly, voice daily. People's voice, God's voice or something like that, in literal sense, is too bad. So, in al-hukmu illa lillah, he is not saying hukm belongs to people, democracy, to Republican, hukm belongs to Allah. Amara alla ta'budu illa iyyah. Amara, Allah ordered you alla ta'budu, you don't worship anyone other than him, illa iyyah, only him. He ordered you that you need to worship him, Allah. ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. This is unchangeable religion. This is the principle of all religions, divine religions, not to worship other than Allah. This is the main thing. This is the basic elements of unchangeable, valuable, always continued, standing religion, qayyim, qa'im, standing religion, perpetual, continuous religion. But, extra nasi, most of the people, la ya'lamun,